Okay, here we go, round 2, special right triangle number 2. So we already looked at 45, 45, 90s. Now we're going to look at 30, 60, 90s, which have, of course, their own little rule. You can either memorize this setup or label the picture, which is what I suggest. I think it's easier than just setting up 3 things. So in a 30, 60, 90, the 30 could be in the bottom corner, could be in the top corner. Just look for where it is. So I have this 30. As soon as I see that, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to write down 60. I do highly recommend you actually write the 60 in there. I'll show you why in a minute. So from our last unit, we know that the smallest angle is across from the smallest side. We already know this should be the largest side because it's across from the it's across from the right angle. It is the hypotenuse. So this will be the medium side. Now, for solving, that doesn't really help us a whole lot. So here is what I recommend. If you go down and you look at this, just like before, my shortest side, which again is across from this 30, is going to get a 1, always. 30 always gets a 1. Now I have to kind of get creative. I have a 2 and a root 3 I have to use. The nice thing is the 2 is going to be on the hypotenuse, just like it was for the 45, 45, 90. I'll have a 3 over here, but it has to be a root 3 so that it's smaller than 2, because 2 has to be the biggest side. What I find easiest to memorize, and this is not at all why this side gets a 2, but I remember that the 2 goes between 30 and 60 because 30 times 2 is 60. So that's how I memorize that 2 has to go on this side between them. That is some ugly scribbling, sorry. So again, 1 has to go on the shortest side. 2 goes between 30 and 60. That leaves me root 3. It's kind of nice because if it's root 3, well, this 3 is hitting this 3 in the 30, and then you have the root. Again, it's just memorizing. So if I was looking at this picture, I see my 30 is down here, which means this is 60. So I have 1. 2 has to go between 30 and 60, because again, 30 times 2 is 60, meaning this side's root 3. That's a lot of lines, so I don't recommend continuously doing that. 30, so this gets a 1. 30 times 2 is 60, which makes this side over here root 3. Again, it can move around. I could give you the 60-degree angle. Okay, well, I still go in and I would recommend writing the 30. So this side gets a 1. 30 times 2 is 60. This gets a root 3. 60. I have a 30. 30 is across from here, so 1. 30 times 2 is 60, root 3. So you just have to memorize the 1, 2, and the root 3, and it should be pretty easy to figure out where they go. Because again, 1 is the shortest side across from 30. 2 goes between 30 and 60, and root 3 touches 30. So just like a 45, 45, 90 went with a square, equilateral triangles go with 30, 60, 90s. Because equilateral triangles have angles that are all 60. So there's that piece of it. But if we take an altitude from the top and we just drop it down, remember an altitude goes from the vertex. Okay, well, here's my vertex, and it hits the bottom at a 90-degree angle. So I have this 90-degree angle already. I know this is 60 already, which means this has to be 30 because this is a triangle. And what do triangles add up to? 180. So this angle here is 30. I'm done using the whole 60-degree angle. So this is also 30 over here. So again, I can look at this and I can say, okay, well, I only need one side of the triangle. I have 60, I have 30, I have 90, 30 goes with the 1, 30 times 2 is 60, root 3 goes next to 30. Okay, so again, we're going to do some labeling. I might throw a little solving in there for you to see, but for right now, just label. I see the 30, so I'm going to go ahead and write my 60 here. 30 is across from 2, so that gets a 1 because it's the smallest. This gets a 2 because 30 times 2 is 60. And then we have our root 3. Obviously, this is the side with 2 numbers, so that's what I would use to solve. I'd have 1 over 2 equals 2 over u. If you wanted to keep solving, you'd cross multiply. You'd get u equals 4. Woohoo. Then you could go and solve for v. 1 over 2 equals root 3 over v. Again, cross multiply. I have v equals 2 stays outside, root 3 stays inside. We'd be done. If you ever need extra paper to do all this, please, please, please feel free. I know I don't always give you enough space. Okay. Here I gave you the 60. I'm going to go ahead, as always, I'm going to write the 30 in there. 30 is across from y, so it gets the 1. Hypotenuse always gets a 2, so that leaves this with a root 3. I know my sound effects are great. I'm going to use 2 over 16. So I have root 3 over x equals 2 over 16. Cross multiply, I have 2x equals 16 root 3. I'm going to run out of space. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to cheat and just kind of move this up so you can see what's going on. Maybe not. I'll move it over here. Okay, then I have to divide by 2 because x is not alone. I can do my outsides, so my final answer is x equals 8 square root of 3. If I wanted to solve the y problem, again, I would do 2 over 16 equals 1 over y. Notice I'm always using the side that has 2 numbers. Don't set up an x and a y equal to each other because it's too confusing to have 2 letters. And you don't want to solve for y using x. What if x is wrong? Okay, so I use my 2 over 16, my 1 over y, cross multiply. I have 2y equals 16. Divide, y equals 8. And I'm done. Once you memorize this, it's more just tedious, not necessarily difficult. Okay, next one, here's my 30. Between 30 and 60 is a 2. Next to 30 is a root 3. 1 is over y. Doesn't matter what order you label them, just get it done. Here's my side with 2 numbers, so I will use that. So I can do 1 over y equals 2 over 8 root 5. I can do root 3 over x equals 2 over 8 root 5. I'm going to solve this one just so you can see, and the rest I'll probably just set up. Here I would have 2y equals 8 root 5. Divide by 2, since it's an outside number, I'm dividing it with the 8, so I get 4 root 5. So much fun. Over here, when I cross multiply, I have 2x equals. 8 is the only thing outside, so it will stay outside. 3 is inside, 5 is inside. 3 times 5 is 15. You could try and break it down if you wanted to, but 15 is 3 5. It doesn't break down. So all I need to do is divide by 2. X equals 4 square root 15. So this problem looked bad, but just the same as all the others. Okay, these ones I'm just going to label because I know these notes are getting long. I'm sorry. At least you can move through them a little faster than if I was teaching. Okay, between 30 and 60 is a 2. Across from 30 is a 1. Next to 30 is a root 3. And again, you'd use this and you could solve. You could say this equals 1 over 8. You could say this equals 1 over 8 and then cross multiply. That one's pretty easy. I'm not going to finish solving. Okay, this next one, here's my 30. Again, always write your 30 in. 30 is across from 1. 30 times 2 is 60. This side gets a root 3. This is the side that I am going to use twice. I'm going to actually show you this one. So I have 1 over y equals root 3 over 5 root 3. Ooh, that was bad. Sorry, guys. 5 over root 3. Okay. Cross multiply. Y root 3 equals 5 root 3. When I divide by root 3, they cancel out. So y just equals 5. That says equals, not less than or equal to. Over here, I have 2 over x, root 3 over 5 root 3. That gives me 10 root 3 equals x root 3. And again, when I divide by this root 3, it's going to cancel out. So 10 will equal x. So dividing roots works the same way as dividing normal numbers. Last picture to label, 30. This gets a 2. This gets a 1. This gets a root 3. This is actually going to end up being the exact same as the problem over there. I just gave you the hypotenuse to start with instead of the longer side. Okay, lastly, looking at our equilateral triangles, let me get that up here. That's good. I know I'm going to need one over here, so I'm going to go ahead and put that there. Let me bring that in. Okay, on this first one, it tells me that the height, okay, the height is 36. Height means straight up and down. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that altitude. That altitude I just dropped, that's what is 36. I want to find the length of each side. Okay, well remember it's equilateral, so we know this down here is our 60. This up here is our 30, our angle, and then we have our 36. I want the lengths of the sides, so I'm going to call this x, and I'm going to call this y. Since I want the length of each side of the triangle, the original triangle, I look at this and I go, okay, y is just part of the side. It's not this whole thing, so it's not going to help me much. However, x is the whole side, so I really only have to solve for x. I don't care about y. Okay, that doesn't matter. So I'm just working with a triangle where I have 36, I have x, 60, 30, and I just need to figure out my labels so I can solve. Well, 2 goes between 60 and 30. This side would get a 1, but I'm not using that side, so this side's root 3. So I would do 2 over x equals root 3 over 36. X root 3 equals 72. Divide by root 3. We're not allowed to have root 3's in the bottom. So I go x, right now I have 72 over root 3. Okay, well, we know our trick. So that becomes 72 root 3 over 3. Last step, I need to simplify, and I believe that is 24 root 3 equals x. And we're done. That's the side of the equilateral triangle. Okay, last one. I'm going to go ahead and drop my altitude because otherwise I don't have a 30, 60, 90. In this one, it tells me that the sides are 10. Okay, so the sides of the equilateral are 10. So this is 10. I'm just going to use one side because I want to use this triangle that's on the left, which again, 90, 60, 30. I said if I fold the triangle in half, so if this side was coming over and I was folding it in half, I want to know how tall the new triangle is. Okay, well, tall is still this piece. So I'm looking for how tall. I know this side gets a 2. It's between 30 and 60. This side gets a 1. I'm looking for this side. So it gets a root 3. So I have 2 over 10 equals root 3 over x. So 2x equals 10 root 3. So x has to be 5 square root 3. And we're done with that. So just like you are going to do for 45, 45, 90, I highly recommend making a flashcard for your 30, 60, 90 labels. Okay, so here is our triangle. Just pick one corner to label as 60. It does not matter which one, just pick one. Okay, so obviously if my bottom one's 60, this is 30. Making this a 1, a 2, and a root 3. If you don't like how I labeled my triangle, you can always label it the other way. So I could say, no, I want this to be 30, just for memorization purposes. 60, 90, so 1, root 3, 2. But you have got to memorize those, which hopefully you've watched the whole video. Otherwise, if you haven't watched any of it, you're going to be in a bit of trouble.